Hello and welcome to another episode of Beyond Chronic Disease. And today I have the specialist guest in the whole wide world, Lenny Nichols. Hello, Lyn.
Oh, hello. What a beautiful introduction that was.
Well, you know, we've known each other for a little while, and I forgot to look up when I met you. Do you remember when I met you?
Gosh, no, because it was out at Kenilworth, wasn't it?
Yes.
I've been in Bali for 5 years, so I don't know. I'm going to say maybe 7.
Okay.
8 years? 8 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, about that. Yeah, probably. Anyway, so I'm going to introduce you. Lyn is a lover of life. She loves helping others to love their life. Lyn is a journey emotional healing practitioner, which we'll go into, a voice dialogue facilitator. She's the author of 2 books, The Recipe, which I've got one in my shop, Heal the Mind, Body and Spirit, and the second book, The Recipe, Healing in the Age of Aquarius, which is co-authored with Don Tolman. She loves good, healthy, healing food and teaching people via workshops the ancient wisdom of plant food as medicine. And she has a small warung, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Which is a cafe in North Bali, where we serve raw healing foods, which she'll explain what that means. And, well, she has got a definition there, raw and cooked plant foods ripened and enlivened by the sun, but we'll go into that further. And the best way to know more about Lyn is to go to her website, www.lennynichols.com/testimonials, and we'll put that link in the show notes. So, Lyn, you've got a cafe in Bali, which I've had the great pleasure of visiting and eating all that beautiful filling food. So what got you from Australia to Bali?
So that was a little bit of a journey of being disillusioned with Australia, the prices in Australia. I really wanted to be able to offer healing at an affordable price. And because a lot of the work that I do, all the work that I do is holistic. So I liked when people are doing my retreats to have their own private bathroom so that they can do daily enemas and stuff like that, colon cleansing. And to find accommodation that was suitable for that in Australia was getting really, really expensive and actually quite hard to find, and very stressful because you would have to book and pay big deposits way in advance, and then, you know, just making sure that you filled those spaces and stuff. So then, this guy that was on Don Tolman, one of the Don Tolman was a mutual kind of friend. He saw something I posted on Facebook. I didn't even know him, and he said, "Lyn, you should come and check out this land. I think you'd love it. It'd be perfect." And so I said, "Okay, I'll come over." And so did a trip to Bali and absolutely loved it. And you know, the idea of having absolutely pristine spring water on tap, and you know, just the nature there is very high vibrational as well. So just sitting and being in that nature alone is healing, as you might remember. You know, for people that come and they don't even do any other therapies, you see after about 3 days it's pushing all their stuff up, you know, for cleansing. And so yeah, I didn't do anything straight away because it was all very scary, but then I went back and checked it out again the next year, and I thought, if I don't do it now, I'm not going to be able to. So yeah, I bought some land and built my little house there, and then have been using the Balinese accommodation for guests when I do my retreats, which is where you would have stayed.
Yeah, and that I did. My husband and I went over a few years ago now, and it was probably 2019, I think we went, 2018, anyway, somewhere around there. And the accommodation is absolutely beautiful and cheap. Like, it's just, North Bali is the place to go, people, if you want to check out where Lyn is at. Is it Lay's Waterfalls?
Yeah.
It's just absolutely beautiful. And who said you can't drink water straight out of a tap in Bali?
I know, but it's probably the only place in Bali you can.
And actually, I've got that written in my book. So for anybody that doesn't know me, or I mean, I'm holding up my book. One day I'll have my YouTube up, Whole Foods of Facts. So Lyn gets a mention in my book big time, because she was part of my journey on healing my body, and also opening my eyes up to the possibility that there's all this weird stuff out there that we're not privy to in the traditional medical area, and it actually works. So before we go to Bali, I had a session with my husband, and I had a retreat with Lyn when she was here in Australia, and we got introduced to lots of interesting stuff. And in my book, I've written about the journey that I had. I'm not sure if you remember this, Lyn, the journey that I had with you. And it brought up the feelings the doctor, when he took out my appendix, when there was really nothing wrong with it, and all the feelings and the emotion, all the emotional baggage that was attached to that. And then afterwards, the feeling in my side where the appendix was, or the girdling that you mentioned I would get and everything. And at that stage, I hadn't even thought about this doctor. Like, it was something that was in the past. You couldn't do anything about it. But clearly it was still in my body, because when you asked we'll explain the journey in a minute, and then we'll explain it. But when you asked my body those questions, and I just said the doctor, it just came out of nowhere, and it blew me away. I just felt like I just went leaps and bounds from there. So onto the journey. What is the journey, and how does it help our bodies? How does it help us to heal?
So what happens is, when we have any traumatic experience, sorry, it's my plane going over.
Okay.
We hold it in ourselves. So we're holding these degenerative memories cellularly. And what happens is, over time, if we don't access that cellular memory and allow that emotion to come out, what happens is it manifests into the physical body. And I've, after 15 years of facilitating this process, I truly believe that I would say, 95% of dis-ease, maybe not currently because of all the other stuff that's going on with the poisons and stuff like that, but 95% of dis-ease comes from these blocked cellular memories that manifest into physical pain or physical disease, or even emotional issues. So what happens with the journey is, we go deep into the subconscious, and are able to, people remember memories that they've, haven't thought of for a million years, kind of thing. And with those memories, all the emotion that's been stored in the body, that's been blocked there, comes up. And there's a way in this process that you get to speak to the people involved. And usually when we release all of the emotion, and then we release all the words that were never able to be said, a feeling of being able to forgive comes quite easily. And with that forgiveness, we actually get real closure with any particular experience. And so what happens then on a scientific level is, our cells are constantly regenerating each other. So, we're always getting the new cells. So, but the old cell, before it dies off, will pass on that degenerative memory, and that's why the disease continues. But when you really heal something and you get absolute closure, you feel so good in your body, you can think about that experience, and you're not having a tight feeling in your gut, or your head doesn't start aching, or whatever it may be. Then when the new cell comes along, there is no degenerative memory for that old cell to pass on. And so then they're pristine cells, and in the time it takes for all those cells to renew of that particular organ, then actual physical healing takes place. So that's the way it works scientifically. Like, it's not woo-woo stuff. There is a science behind it, and it's, these degenerative memories that are not then passed on. And so, true, authentic healing takes place. Because if you just work on the physical, all you're doing is working on the symptoms. You're never getting to the cause. And yes, we can heal that way, but this is why we hear people say, oh yeah, I had such and such, and I got rid of it, and then 5 years later it came back again, because you've never actually got to the cause. And so I guess my whole purpose for the last 10 years of running holistic retreats is to get to the cause and work on that, so that then the physical symptoms are just, can just go away once and for all. So yeah.
And that is a good thing. I've done some other therapies on myself too, and excuse me, just get into that when you talk about the forgiveness side of thing. You don't have to physically say to the person, I forgive you, do you?
No.
For the healing to take place.
Yeah, because the thing is with this therapy is, when you're working so deep in consciousness, your mind, and you're doing something in a visualization, your mind doesn't actually know the difference of whether you're doing it face to face with that person or you're doing it in a visualization. Your mind doesn't know. So the chemical changes in your body are exactly the same. So it's a beautiful way of, people can't face that person that they need to forgive, or they need them to forgive them. Because the journey also has a beautiful way of showing people what was going on for that person when they behaved a certain way that might have hurt us. So there's, it works both ways. But the chemical changes in our body is exactly the same as if we had have had that opportunity face to face with someone. So even if someone's passed away, we can still, use this process to get to, to get real closure on any particular experience. So yeah, I love it. I'm so passionate about this process. It's been the core of my work for 15 years. So
and I've experienced it firsthand, and it just was profound. It does affect everybody different ways, doesn't it? Like because everyone's had different experiences in their lives, and when you talk about how it works on the reverse as well, I do remember some situations when I had the journey experience with you that came up, and that was from the other person's perspective. So yeah, it's really intriguing, and I feel that it can get right through those layers to get to that root cause, which is what we're all trying to get to, the root cause. I'm not sure if people realize that, but like you said, with the symptoms, the physical symptoms, that's generally what the traditional medications work on. And I know in my case, when I was taking the medications for a symptom, that it was producing more physical symptoms and scared the hell out of me. So I sought out other alternatives, but it was like a stepping stone process for me. And I finally got to you and other people. So I was so grateful for what the disease created for me, because. And we say dis-ease, if you've listened to Lyn say dis-ease, because Lyn, you can explain why we tend to call it dis-ease instead of disease.
Yeah, well, all it is dis-ease in a particular body system. So I often have, when people first message me, they give me like a massive page this long of what's going on for them. And to be honest, I scan through and just really just go, okay, what are we working with? What's the organ? What's the system? Because there's dis-ease in that system, and then there's a set protocol for that particular system. So the ancient wisdom is, they believe there only was 7 diseases, because there's only 7 major body systems. So they would look into what's the system, and then what are the herbs and what are the plants that are used to bring balance back to that system. So it is just energetic dis-ease. There's imbalance in the energy of that system and in that system itself. So yeah, that's why I don't ever call it a disease, because I truly believe it is just dis-ease, imbalance there that needs to be looked at. So yeah, then we bring that system back into balance. And yeah, it's all about keeping it very simple. Like it's been, conventional medicine's made everything sound super scary, and really, how many Don will tell you how many diseases there are now and how many pharmaceutical products there are. But if you go back to the ancient wisdom, it was all very, very simple. Just the 7 body systems and, you know, whatever herbs and plants and, you know, whatever minerals or whatever that will heal that particular system. And I like to work holistically. So I also bring in the chakra work as well, which chakra correlates to any particular organ. And then we find balance in that energy center. And yeah, everything works together. That's why my approach is always a holistic approach. It's never just working on the physical or just working on the emotional. So I really, truly believe that we've got to take that holistic approach because we are mind, body, and spirit. So yeah.
And you just brought another element into it then that listeners probably not aware of, the chakras. So can you please explain yourself? I sound like Pauline Hanson here. Please explain. Pardon me.
So yeah, so we have energy centers in the body, and you know, many people call them chakras. They actually are based, like anciently it was just known that they were the endocrine centers, like where each of the endocrine glands are situated. But they are energy centers that bring in and emanate out energy. So that's why we're able to, you know, pick up other people's feelings and stuff like that. Intuitively, we can feel what someone else has got going on. But what happens is each center is a particular color. So that color has a certain vibration that correlates to particular emotions. And that's what will determine what emotions get blocked in each particular chakra. For example, the liver is the solar plexus chakra, which is yellow in color. So you could use yellow foods to heal the liver. But also when I've done the emotional healing work on people that have got liver problems, there's always, you know, it could be anger or hatred that is stored there. And I remember one lady, she said to me at the end of our emotional healing process, that is the most excruciating thing I have ever felt in my life. And all it was is when these emotions come up, they create physical pain. And that's why I was talking earlier about, you know, the degenerative memory and the blocked cellular, blocked emotions there. Because when they're stored in the body, they manifest over time into pain. But she actually thought it was the most excruciating thing that she'd ever been through, even though she was doing a water fast at the time. That was nothing in comparison to the emotional healing work, which was so fascinating. And every time this emotion of hatred would come up, she was in fetal position in so much pain until it released. She was able to feel it and release it from her body, and then the pain went away also. So it's a beautiful thing to see that. But also the chakras, so they have a particular color and a particular vibration that then correlates to a particular set of organs. So if we were talking about the solar plexus chakra, we're not just talking about the liver, we're talking about the gallbladder and the pancreas and the, what else is there? The spleen and the stomach and the intestines. So that's all correlating to the solar plexus. So when we're working with any of those organs, we can bring in the yellow color, yellow foods, we could wear yellow clothes, and then we work with the food as medicine for each particular organ, whichever you're working with. But so it's really important as well to bring that aspect in my opinion, because like I said, we're mind, body and spirit. We're not just this physical body. So yeah, and when we bring it all in together, it's amazing how fast healing can take place. And you know, I've seen that in my time of doing this work. One girl in particular, just to give your viewers an example of how powerful it is to take a holistic approach, was the girl that she was only 22 and she had the advanced ovarian cancer that had already gone into her liver and her intestines, I think into her lungs at that point when she came. And the doctors had just given her weeks to live, but she was actually cancer-free in 9 months. And she said to me a couple of years later that she realizes then that the core of, or, you know, the main reason that she's cancer-free was she was able to do the emotional healing work and get rid of all of the trauma out of her body that over time she'd pushed down because it was just too hard to feel it and relive it. So she didn't know what to do with it. So we push it down and find a way to suppress it. That's where addictions come in as well, because it's just a way of not feeling what's uncomfortable there. But when she was open to bringing that up and feeling it and finding forgiveness and closure with these experiences, then the physical dis-ease went away. And yeah, like I said, going from weeks to live to cancer-free in 9 months. So yeah, I've seen so many miracles with that process. And you know, taking a holistic approach, it's amazing.
It is.
I love it. It's very exciting.
Yeah. And sorry, that's just so interesting. And I don't want to make it confusing, like listeners are probably like taking all that on board, but they don't need to, because you know exactly where they're at and exactly what to do with them. And I just, the energy of disease is so paramount, because when I was writing my book, and I know this is probably hard to grasp for some people to hear this, but when I was writing my book, all those little niggly, painy things all started to sort of come back as I kept thinking about what I was going through at the time. So it is, and it, like you said, when you walk in, you know, you pick up other people's feelings, emotions. When you walk into a room, you can feel like if it's going to contract you or open you up, whatever that other word is. And yeah, so I absolutely love it. So I'm going to wrap it up in a tick.
Okay.
What else now? What else? You did the you still do the retreats over in Bali, don't you? But at the moment you're in Australia. So will you have, I can put all that, all the contact details on the show notes for people to get into contact with you. Yeah.
Yeah, we have now we've got quite a beautiful little setup there. I'm going to be moving away a little bit from supporting the fasting side of things. I've been supporting the water fast for 10 years now. There's another girl that's there that's always assisted me. You would have met her, Julie. But she will take over the support role. And I'm happy to just create the packages for people and help them get it all set up, get them there so that they have no worries and stuff like that. But I want to move more. My retreats are going to be moving more into reconnection now, reconnection to the earth and to our own divine self. Because when we have that connection, we also have self-love. And I've just seen over the years that everything comes back to self-love. If we love ourselves and we love our life, then healing is very, very easy.
And I just on the backside of that, I just following the energy now of everything that I do, and it's just creating so much more in my life. So just give us a couple of minute take on the water fasting. A lot of people think that that's quite dangerous. What's your take on that? Couple of minutes?
Yeah. Well, I've been doing my own water fasting for a long time. I've done 13 now, 10-day water fast. I've never, ever had a problem at all, and have felt amazing healing in my body, have felt things manifesting in my body and being able to heal that through fasting. Can't tell you the last time I went to a doctor. I've seen many people do fasts up to 40 days of water fasting, never seen any issues with it. So I don't know where this dangerous stuff comes from, because it's actually the ancient wisdom. And if you go right back to the days of Jesus, even his first initiation was being dumped on a mountain with no food and water for 3 days. You know, it's a very ancient wisdom, and you can go further than that and do breath airing. So I don't see how it's dangerous. But yes, if someone's got a lot of disease, yes, be careful. Do it very gradually, slowly. That would be where the problem would come in.
Yeah, and that's what I was just going to say too, I guess, you know, because we all know, well, maybe some of us don't, but if you go off caffeine, for example, you'll feel absolutely shocking. So I guess that might be where it comes in, if, you know, water fast, because you're getting rid of all those toxins out of your body. So you'll feel so much worse to start with than before you'll get better. And we really don't. Go on.
Sorry.
Go.
I was just going to say what I won't support, as you would remember, I won't support anyone with a fast unless they're going to do daily colon cleansing to get all that toxicity out of their body. So if someone's had problems with it, most often it's because they're not, you know, kind of doing things to support themselves. I really also feel that the emotional healing, people breeze through when they do the healing work as well as fasting. So yeah, I think if you do it properly, it's only beneficial.
Yeah, so you should seek out somebody that knows what they're doing for the proper healing to happen. Yeah.
And don't push your people. Some people, you know, they say, I want to do a 40-day fast. Well, they've never done a fast in their life. I would say start with 3, start with 5, you know, and work up to that. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we've found some changes in our health too when we've done the fasts as well. So, yeah, no, I really like them. I think they are good for our bodies if we choose to do it. It's all about choice in this world, I guess. And this is what I'm here for, to have more choice available to people so that they can see what is out there. I know we didn't get onto some of the things. Maybe I'll have to get you back on another one.
Sorry, I get a bit excited and probably talk too much to it. Sorry.
No, it's
good
all
to be passionate.
No, it's all good. So I want to thank you for being here. I'm so grateful for you to be able to join me on my new podcast, Beyond Chronic Disease. And I hope that the listeners out there have taken a little bit on board. I'll put everything in the show notes so you can find out where Lyn is and how she works, and take it from me. It's a beautiful place to go, North Bali. I will say that when I was eating her food there, I had to tell her to can my lunch, because the wholesome food is just so nurturing for your body that it was super filling, and I couldn't eat it all. So thank you, Lyn, again, and I will be directing people to you if they ask, for sure. And enjoy your stay in Oz.
Thank you.
And
yes,
and we'll connect again in person one day.
Yes, for sure, Wendy. And congratulations on your book and everything that you're doing. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
All right. See you later.